everyone and welcome to a new episode of the pre-searing Grail. If you're new here, this is a series where I try to obtain every single item in pre-searing and I track them in a spreadsheet that you can find down in the description. Today, actually in 5 minutes, the anniversary event begins, and that is the most important event in all of pre-searing, for me especially because recently ArenaNet added two-factor authentication to a bunch of accounts and I lost access to my alt. Sadly, shortly before that happened, I stored a bunch of consumables, every single one that I had on the account, so I lost access to all of it. And that's not only all of the combat consumables that I had, but also the 50-point consumables that I collected over the years. It's all gone, so that's why I want to take special advantage of this event and get all of my consumables back, a healthy stack of cupcakes, and all of the 50 pointers that matters so much to me. But before we can start, at the end of last episode, I got 10 unidentified armors because I just had so much to do in the last episode, I didn't identify them all. And since then, I got 5 more, so we have 15 armors to identify to start with. We are starting with slightly above 60% completion on the spreadsheet, and I hope you'll enjoy. Let's get started with the identifying right away. I don't remember off the top of my head which insignias and runes I already have collected and which ones I didn't. I only know that I still miss the expensive ones. I don't have Minor Vigor, I don't have Fire, I don't have Marksmanship, Hammer Mastery, so that's it. So I won't be stopping all the time to check with my spreadsheet. I'll just go through it. Beastmaster, I'm pretty sure that is a new one, but don't quote me on that. I'll go through it after we are done with everything. Fast casting, that's a new one for sure, because that's expensive and I don't have it. And I will sum it up at the end. I think the Soul Reaping was new as well. What did you get? Vitae. Wilderness Survival. Yes, that is new as well. Death Magic. I'm so tempted to just look on the side and check and confirm, but I need to keep on identifying the last one. Hammer Mastery, yes, I said at the beginning we don't have Hammer Mastery. This is great because I have a warrior in pre-searing that doesn't have its Hammer Mastery rune yet, so that will be great. I can give it to that, but I will just quickly check which ones we got that are new. And let's go get started with the event, because Stans in the chat already says that the event is on. If you haven't been watching the series from the start, I just want to reiterate that I don't buy these armors to identify them and then mark them in a spreadsheet. I get every single item myself on this character, and with that out of the way, I already sold all of the identified armors and we got 10 new slots in the spreadsheet. And I have the Hammer Mastery here that I will be trading to my warrior later, but for now, I want to take advantage of this anniversary event as much as possible. And I won't only be playing on this character, I also have my alt here that I will be doing the AFK method of obtaining baked husks, and that should give us a lot of event items as well. Oh hell yes, that's the first birthday cupcake of the new stack. I took a look at some of my older videos and screenshotted the consumables that I had, and man, it hurts to see, but we will rebuild it all. I've been hit really hard by this first pack of char, and I just realized I don't have my Vanguard quest active, so yeah, this could have ended really badly. I haven't gotten any of those big 50-pointer consumables yet, but we did get a Char Salvage Kit, and now Blaze Bloodbane dropped me a purple Divine Symbol, and that's my first one, so that's a new slot in the spreadsheet. I also started gathering those unidentified armors again, because I don't want to go like, oh, what's this, every single time I get one, so we might have another identifying session in this video. Yes, that's the first 50-pointer we got, the delicious cake. Delicious indeed. Switching to the alt for a second, I couldn't wait any longer and I went ahead and picked my secondary profession, which is monk, so we are emo now, at least in-game. And I did that just so I can pick 2 secondary quests, that's Bandit Trade and Protection Prayers, and what that does, it spawns a bunch of additional enemies, additional bandits, so that the AFK runs for the baked husks are a lot more convenient. If you compare the runs without those 2 secondary quests and with those 2, it's like a night and day difference, both in the amount of bandits and the fact that they auto aggro you when you get in range. So it's a lot more convenient to just cast one firestorm when they all run to you versus having to tag them manually and then dispersing. So that is a lot more convenient. And protection prayers requires monk as a secondary. Bandit Rite doesn't, but you need protection prayers to have even more bandits, so that was kind of a given. And one last thing, small thing that I wanted to mention. You can see in my quest log that I have a Mesmer's Burden and Grail Invasion and all the other secondary profession quests done and completed. And I think once I'm level 16 I want to turn them in, I still can, even though I already picked my secondary. So that is that little bit of experience that I otherwise would have missed out on that I will now get. I haven't been lucky with any new purples. We did get a lot of identifiable armors though, so for sure we will be identifying at the end of the video, but I just now got a purple idol and they can have two variants. There's a knife and a hand, so I guess this is the knife one, and I didn't have any, so that's a new slot. I still haven't got my second 50 pointer, but, well, that's not really true because I got the second cake, but what I mean is I didn't get a second 50 pointer type, but we got a black die, so that's sick. Here's my first party beacon, and I decided to clear the altar fully before making this clip, and the next boss dropped a delicious cake and a fire wand. And if you've been watching, you know that the fire elementalist weapons, well, all elementalist weapons in Northlands can only be dropped by this one boss, so purple ele weapons are also rare, and a delicious cake at the same time, so it's raining drops here. We got another idol, so I zoomed in to see if it's the knife or the hand, and this thing looks like a hand, so I went to the Guild Wars wiki, and this is indeed a hand, and it has the same icon like before, so I actually got a hand before, and this is a dupe, and the knife one looks a lot more like a knife. Anyways, since I'm recording, I also wanted to showcase this staff that I got. It's just a blue staff, but the insightful mod is just +1 energy, so this looks so cute, like a cute little blue staff, mildly interesting. And if you look at this loot pile in the distance, if you squint your eyes, that's the Battle Isle Iced Tea. So that's my first one, and that means I have one of everything now. Purple short sword, that's completely new. And yet another new purple, this time a Warhammer. There's two types, a spiked and a lion, and I took a good hard look on the ground and we have ourselves a lion one. So that is a new one. I already had the spiked, but lion is new. And an interesting thing about the hammers is, when I first started the challenge, I suspected that the hardest purples to fill in will be elementalist weapons. That's also what I said in episode 1, if I remember correctly. But surprisingly, I have the least of offhands. I think I have like 2 only. And hammers, this is my second hammer, but that makes sense, right? When you think about it, there's no hammer enemies in Northlands at all. So let's identify this. Pretty cool mod, sadly. Hammers are obsolete because you have the Rhinos charge, but very cool to mark this in the spreadsheet. And when it rains, it pours runic hammer literally the next run. And a break hammer this time, even 1 run later, so this is a back to back to back 3-back hammers. And finally, with this cupcake, I'm done because I just collected 158. And if you're wondering, well, what's up with that? That's such an arbitrary number. Well, that's because, as I said at the start of the video, I'm not only farming on this character, I'm also farming at the same time on my elementalist alt, and here I have 92. So together that adds up to an entire stack, and I've been going pretty hard on farming on 2 accounts. I wanted to get a lot of those. I wanted to get a full stack of cupcakes, and now it's time to chill out a bit because I spent a lot of time just farming Guild Wars lately during the anniversary. I definitely can say that I took advantage of the event, but there's still some stuff that I'd like to do that I told myself, maybe if there's time. Now there's time, so I will go trade my alt. I will gather everything I got on my alt into here, so I have everything. I will no longer bother with farming 2 accounts, that is way too much work. And we will move on to something else, probably identifying all of those armors, because I've been just stashing them on my separate characters, and there's a lot of them. That's all of this stuff traded over, and I think that's a pretty good haul. I'm especially happy with those 250 birthday cupcakes. I don't slam one every single day, so that should probably be enough to last me until the next anniversary. And also cool to have some honeycombs because I didn't have any and I refused to open any gifts of the Huntsman. So a lot of cool stuff. I will have to trade it back soon because we need a lot of space for all of the armors I will be identifying. I will show you a screenshot of all of them that I have, and there's even more that just didn't fit in the inventory, so I'll probably have to do 2 identifying sessions. And then there's one last surprise thing that I wanted to do during anniversary, but you'll just have to wait and see. Time for the first batch of 2 of the identifying. I'm gonna do it here in the Baradin estate just for a little bit of change. Also, I've recently read that it's the smallest outpost in the entire game, so that's a cool little bit of trivia for you. And it's impossible to remember all of the runes and insignias that I'm still missing. So off the top of my head, I just remember that I don't have fire magic, I don't have domination, marksmanship, vigor, all of the expensive stuff. So if you notice that, that's new for sure. And otherwise, I'll just try to add everything new we get in post. And with all that said, let's begin. So far, so good. Healing. I'm pretty sure I don't have healing prayers. I just checked before recording this just to get a mental note of something. And I think healing prayers was a new one. So I'm pretty sure we got at least one new thing. I'd hope so. Oh, minor vigor. Yes. Yes, that's especially good because I just made a bunch of new characters. And I need vigor on some of them. So that will be splendid. Plus, you know, the priceless feeling of having a slot filled curses. I don't remember if curses is new, but it feels new, so that's good as well. Minor absorption. I wonder if I have the absorption on my warrior already. I think I might. Okay, so you already know if there's a bunch of new stuff because you can see it on the screen. I will know later. That's the metal and the leather armors done, and I'll trade my alt here in a second and we'll do all of the remaining cloth armors. Here's the cloth armors, and I just went ahead and added everything new we got from the previous batch, and we got 5 new runes or insignias to the list, and that means I'm missing only 12 to be completely done with that section, so I'm crossing my fingers to get even closer. And well, let's start with the identifying, shall we? Dreadnought with illusion. I need 4 insignias and 8 runes, and I still don't... Oh, prismatic! Yes, I'm sure this is a new one, so I need 11 now. Prismatic is new one for sure, and we... Okay, sure. Okay, game. Prismatic again. Right. So the big ones, oh, Vigor again. That's a dupe for the spreadsheet, but it's amazing. As I said, I have a bunch of new characters. That's gonna be really useful. Seems like off the top of my head, only the prismatic was new. Hopefully, what you see on the screen says otherwise. A lot of death magic. That is also worth a bit. If you were to identify, I would just suggest saving all of the expensive-ish runes and selling. And oh, sure. That's death magic again. All right, let me sum it up again, and then we will move on to the slight surprise section. Now, for the surprise that I've been talking about, I really wanted to take advantage of the event and get all the items I want first, like the stack of cupcakes, just so I have it done and then I can get to the fun stuff. So, did you know that there is one boss of every profession that you can loot in Pre-Searing? Because there's a bunch of bosses added with Vanguard quests that you cannot loot, we don't care about them. And everyone knows about the 4 caster bosses in Northlands. And there's also the warrior boss, Skull Reaver, in the Catacombs. But there is also a ranger boss called Vatlav Doomtooth. You usually fight it after joining the Ascalon Academy, but that's no longer Pre-Searing in my opinion. Because, well, you cannot come back. So what's good in fighting him then? But you can also fight him during the Trouble in the Woods quest. Well, fight is maybe too much said because he just casts favorable winds and then he runs away. But if you have a friend or an alt like I do on the quest, you can position one of your characters here behind where Vatlav will spawn near the Ascalonian townsfolk, and then talk to Devona, which I will do on the side of my screen. And then he will spawn. So what I would like to try out is get one of the anniversary items from him. Let's see if he can drop one. And since, you know, it might take a long time, I really wanted to get all of the anniversary items first, but, you know, time to get into testing. Also, a cool thing is you get the boost from him, the 2% morale boost, and you get regular loot from him, so there shouldn't actually be anything preventing me from getting anniversary items. It's just a matter of either time, or maybe he was specifically excluded, but I just really wanted to see if he does drop it. Hell yes! We got a Battle Isle iced tea. It was like kill count 10 or something, and 2 char carvings and Hunter's Ale so far. The loot from him looks decently interesting. He also drops armors, but I only found white ones and char hides. So it might be interesting to grind him for a little bit, maybe some other time. Sadly, I have to do some clears for him to drop stuff, because otherwise, if I don't clear at least some monsters before going forward, then he drops nothing. But it's really interesting to just grind him at some point. And that will be it for the video today, so thank you for watching, and I think that's been anniversary well spent. Actually, when you're watching this, the event will be over, but for me there's still 3 days left, so I think I'll just spend the time chilling, grinding some nick items, and just enjoying my time without stressing too much with playing 2 accounts and doing char runs all the time. And well, we progressed the spreadsheet a lot in this episode. I think we started at around 60%, and I'm almost at 75%. So I can definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel, but the tunnel tends to grow longer and longer in those challenges. So I just hope you're enjoying the ride together with me. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a wonderful day. And I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.